Welcome to the Science Course Specific video. This presentation is intended to be viewed after you have viewed the video Core General Education Orientation Part 1, Introduction to Baker College Institutional Student Learning Outcomes and Competencies. The video will explain how science courses fit into the greater picture, and it will begin to explain how the assessment process will work for your courses. The video in part 2 will continue to explain the intricacies of what you should expect. Your understanding of the university's ISLOs will help you grasp your role in assessing students in science courses. As the first video in this module illustrated, there is a shift between past practices and new aspirations in guiding students to develop new skill competencies. In the past, only few science courses have had direct measure assessments. Now, all courses that satisfy science inquiry credit will have inbuilt direct measures that will be used to establish and develop ISLO competencies. We expect to see advancement in skill level as students progress through their general education. ISLO competencies have been modeled after AACU rubric guidelines. Most general education courses have a single rubric in which they are aligned with. There is no one single rubric that supports scientific process and inquiry. The scientific process that we employ has been scaffolded from the scientific method. We will use our direct measure assignments to help students master this process. But keep in mind our definition of the scientific process. Scientific practice is science and engineering practices are the focus, not inquiry or scientific method alone. The National Research Council framework has reframed doing science inquiry to engaging in sequences of 8 core practices of science and engineering. While some of these practices overlap with aspects of inquiry or the scientific method, overall they represent a more complete, holistic, and accurate view of scientific activity. Inquiry has come to refer to too many different approaches, and content and process were often taught separately. The 8 practices of science and engineering that the Next Generation Science Standards Framework identifies as essential for all students to learn and describes them as 1. Asking questions and defining problems, 2. Developing and using models, 3. Planning and carrying out investigations, 4. Analyzing and interpreting data, 5. Using mathematics and computational thinking. 6. Constructing explanations and designing solutions. 7. Engaging in argument from evidence. And 8. Obtaining, evaluating, and communicating information. We will go into how this specifically will be applied in the next presentation. The goals we set for our students come from 3 main rubrics: creative and critical thinking, inquiry and analysis, and digital information and literacy. We will also utilize other portions of AACU rubrics that support written and oral communication, as these are important tools in reporting scientific findings. ISLO 1 contains scientific practice as one of the 5 competencies in this outcome. We also see that many of the supporting competencies of scientific practice are found in ISLO 3. Each of the boxed competencies will be assessed via a direct measurement assignment in each science course. The scientific practice rubric was essentially built from each of these competencies you see in this slide and the one before this. If you have any questions, please review this slide deck included in the link below with a transcript of this video as well. Please always feel free to reach out to your campus program director or the system science chair with any questions that you may have.